Hi again, Year 6. So we are on to Friday's guided session. So we are using simple formulae. So the first one is, can you work out the missing numbers in the table? So we need to consider the relationship, the pattern between the number of squares and the number of circles, okay? So essentially we're looking at this. How do you find the number of circles if you know the number of squares, okay? So I've given you a little hint on this one, in this that we're actually timesing by 2. So there's 1 square, 2 circles. So if we times the number of squares 1 by 2, we'll end up with the number of circles. I'll just grab the eraser to show you that. There. Then if we have 2 squares, 1, 2, hopefully you can see that the number of circles is going to double. So 2 squares gives us 4 circles because there's 2 circles attached to each square. So we get 4. 3 squares, if we times that by 2, gives us 6 circles. So we're multiplying by 2 because each square has 2 circles attached. Now we don't have a picture for this one, but hopefully you can work out that 4 times 2 is 8. And then lastly, we've got 80. Obviously, I don't expect you to draw out 80 squares and their circles. But if we had 80 squares and we double it, we get 160. 8 times 2, 160. Now, this is the formula bit. Excuse me. So we are saying, just grab a pen a moment, that C is the number of circles. And to get to that, we get the number of squares, S, and we are timesing it by 2. We're doubling it, okay? So that can look like, as a formula, C equals 2S. So remember, when the number comes right next to the letter, it just means 2 lots of that thing, 2 times the S. Okay, let's have a look at this next one. So I've not given you the clue this time, but hopefully we can figure that out fairly simply. So we've got the number of spiders, which is going to be represented by the letter S, and the number of legs, which is going to be the letter L. Now, it helps if you know how many legs a spider has. Sorry, there is a handy little diagram here if you are not sure. So one spider is going to have, oh no, I was not thinking that would happen. Well, you've all just seen the answers there. Oh well, hopefully you've not noticed. One spider has got 8 legs, okay? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So 2 spiders then, logically, have got to have double that. They've got to have 16. So I've doubled this here. So then if we've got 3 spiders, that's got to be 3 lots of 8. So 8, 8, 8 is 24. So now just before we go to the 4th one there, let's have a look and see what the connection is here. So there's a connection, the same one, between these numbers here. Hopefully you're shouting at the screen right now that we're multiplying by 8. So to get from the number of spiders, the number of legs, we just times by 8 because the spider has 8 legs each. So 4 spiders then, 4 times by 8 is 32. And then if we had 10 spiders, they've got 8 legs each. So we would have 80 legs. So now we get to the formula. Create a formula to show the relationship between the number of spiders and the amount of legs. So we've got legs equals, and we need to work out what's under here. So legs equals, so we said the number of spiders for S times by 8. So that's what we're doing each time. That looks a bit like a 5, it is definitely an S. So if we had, let's say, 8 spiders, we times it by 8, and there would be 64 legs in total. So in this, for this formula then, we've got 8S. So just like the last one, we've taken this S times 8, and we've just made it into the correct algebraic term here. So it's 8S, or 8 lots of S. Okay. Right, we'll have a look at Eva then. So Eva is making a triangle pattern using straws. So for one triangle, I'm not going to make the same mistake again, I'll get the rubber this time. For one triangle, hopefully you can see there are 3 straws. Now, if you look closely at this one, for 2 triangles, there's the original triangle. All Eva's had to add on is actually 2 more straws. So for 2 triangles, we've actually got 5 straws. So start trying to think about what's linking these 2 numbers. So how can we use the number of triangles to work out the number of straws? So on this one, we've got the 3, 4, 5, and then we're adding on 2 more again. So that's got to be 7. But we need to work out how we're getting from here to here each time, okay? So 4, if we add on 2 more, is going to be 9. So before we get to this 20, let's see if we can work out what the little connection is here. So my initial thought would be, well, it's add 2, but that doesn't work. The second you get to this one, look, we're not just adding on 2, okay? So we've got to think about something a bit deeper than that. So if we did the number of triangles and we doubled it, so 1 times 2, and then we added on 1, we'd get to the number of straws, look. 2 times by 2 is 4, add 1 is 5. So we just need to check that that works. 3 times by 2 is 6, add 1 is 7. 4 times by 2 is 8, add 1 is 9. So 20 then, times by 2 is 40, add 1 would give us 41. So our formula then is S for the number of straws. So the number of straws equals, and we're saying it's T times 2, add 1. So I'll show you how that's written. So it's 2T, 2 lots of T, add 1. Okay. Let's have a look at this next slide then. So a babysitter charges C £9 per hour H and £3 for travel, which is the correct formula to use to work out the cost of the babysitter. So a babysitter charges C, so that's where we've got C, equals, so we're going to work out the cost, £9 per hour. So for every hour she works, she gets £9. So if she works 2 hours, she gets £18. And then we add on £3 for her travel costs. So which one of these do we think is the correct formula to work out the cost of the babysitter? So how much she can charge. So we'll have a look at all 3. So we've got C equals 9, add H, add 3. So that's £9, add the number of hours, add 3. That's not going to get us £9 per hour. This 9 add H won't work. C equals 3H add 9. Well, the 3 came from adding on 3 extra pounds. If we do 3H, we're saying she's only getting paid £3 an hour. So it's not that one. So logically then it's got to be this one. So we'll just work out if that's okay. So the charges equals 9H, that's 9 times H, add 3. So she gets £9 for every hour. So let's say she's done 3 hours. We do 9H, that's 9 times 3. Well, that's 27. So that does work. Add 3 on for her travel. So it's this one. I'll just circle it for you in case you're not sure. It's this one here that is the correct formula. Now, I made a slight mistake under this box here. So I'm just going to ignore that. It was a question that I put on and then wanted to miss out. So I'm just going to ignore it or pretend it doesn't exist. Right, next one then. So she used simple formulae still. So can you write a formula to find the perimeter of a rectangle? So the perimeter, in case you can't remember, hopefully you can, the perimeter is all the way around the outside. So how can we put that as a formula? And then your little challenge is there more than one way of writing that formula, okay? So perimeter equals, we've got WL, WL. So we could write W, add L, add W, add L. That would be one way of writing it. I'd quite like you please to pause the video now and see if you can make this a bit better. Is there a better way of writing that? Okay, so W, in case you're not sure, I've used to stand for width and L for length. So the width and the length. Right, I'm going to assume that you've paused the video and had a go. So I'll just show you what's underneath here. So these are the two options that work well. So we've got P for perimeter equals 2L. So you can see we've got two lots of L here. Add on 2W. So we times 2L, so 2 times L, and then we do 2 times W, and then we add them together. So we've got 2 L's, 2 W's. You could also do it a slightly different way, and I've used brackets this time to show you. If you do L add W, so that's 1 L add 1 W, and you multiply that by 2, it's right next to the bracket, look, so we're multiplying, you'll end up with the same answer. So either of those formula are correct. Okay, let's have a look at what is next. Right, so what I'd like you to do, whatever you're writing on, whatever you can use, is to record, please, a bit like a STEM sentence almost. P equals 2L add 2W. And P equals 2 brackets L add W brackets. If you are not sure that you can remember what the P and the L and the W stand for, write that out as well. So P is perimeter, L is length, and W is width. Before we do this question then, I just want to pop over to this vocabulary box over here. This is going to help you with part of your intelligent practice as well. So a formula is a rule describing a relationship, and that's what we're looking at today. So you can use a formula to calculate the area, to calculate the perimeter. There's lots of them. Okay, you can calculate speed, all manner of things. So a rule describing a relationship. An expression is what we looked at before. So 3a is an expression. 4d add 2 is an expression. Expressions have no equals sign. Okay. An equation shows that both sides are equal. Okay, so that's what that means. 3a add 2a equals 5a. We've spoken about this before. You've got to equal on both sides of the equals sign. So 5 times 10 equals 10 times 5. This is an equation. Both sides are equal. So just a bit of vocab for you there. Right, two tasks for you to have a look at. So can we find the perimeter of a rectangle where A is 10 meters and B is 8 meters? And where A is 7 and B is 6. Now, what would be useful, and I might just change this now while we're talking actually, is that we make this L and not A. I don't know why I've used A there. And we make this W. Sorry. And we'll do the same here. So this will be L and this will be W. That would seem to make more logical sense, okay? So find the perimeter of a rectangle where L equals 10 and W equals 8. So I'm going to go with this way first. Do pause the video and have a go, and then play it back and you can see if you got the right answer. So 2L has got to be 20, 2 times 10. Add 2W, 2 times 8 is 16, which makes our perimeter 36 meters, and we add those together, not squared, it's not area, okay? Now, about these letters, it doesn't matter really. I could have put A here and B there, and we'd have got the same answer, okay? So then we've got, I'll do this one the other way, in fact, so do make sure you've had a go. So I'll do this one using that one. So we're doing L add W, so 7 add 6 gives us 13. And then we need to times that by 2, gives us 26. And that would have worked either way. If I do 2L, that would give me 14. Add 2W is 12. So 14 add 12 is 26. Okay? So make sure you've got these written down somewhere. Right, on to intelligent practice. So I shall stop the video and speak to you in a moment.